All right, so since we have a clean project, we need to have, of course, an index page. The index page. This is what we have, index.js. This is going to be the starting of our application. Of course, we need to do a lot of setup first. We need to import, just like we did before. Let's create the first template for this. It's going to be import the first component. Import from React, and you're going to be doing this a lot. Then, of course, we're going to need import from React DOM. We need to bring React DOM to the equation, and then React DOM from, and then of course React DOM. Just like I told you before, it's always good if you have a template. Now, our main application, the main component of our application is going to be just a functional component. We don't need a class for this. So I'm going to say const, and it's going to be app, and it's going to be equal to a function. And of course, we're going to return something. And for now, we're going to return some dumb div, just like that. And it's going to say home, whatever. Good. Okay. So now we need to use this React DOM. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to say React and then DOM dot, and we need to call the render method. The render method is going to be displaying the app that we have on top. Good. There we go. So then comma, and we need to specify where are we going to be rendering this. So we say document dot query selector, and then of course we select the root. Remember the root on the HTML? Well, that's it. Okay, in theory, if we run this, we should be getting at least home. So I'm going to say npm start, and it's going to give us the 3000, not post, just home. And okay, we get home, so that it's working. Good. So now we are going to be practicing with routes. So I'm just going to go ahead and create the routes. I'm going to create a folder that is going to be components, just like that, just like before. And to start, we're going to have just 3 different routes. I'm going to create one file that is going to be home.js. I'm going to create a new one that is going to be posts.js. And I'm going to create a new one that is going to be profile.js. So most of the times when you create your projects, you're going to just do it like this. And okay, what we need to do, we need to create at least a little bit of this to create the component. So at least whenever we render this posts, we can get some text. So first we need to import React, and then from, you guessed it, React. This is going to be a functional component, so we don't need to do much right here. I'm going to say const posts because we are inside posts, and it's going to be equal to open and close and just a function. So this one, of course, is going to return open and close, and we need to return a div, just like we did before. And this one is going to say posts, so we can know at least which component we are rendering. Of course, we need to make this component available from other components, so we're going to say default, and then we pass posts. Good. So everything is good. So in theory, of course, it's not going to work if we change it right here. We need to include this. But first, I'm going to copy all of this, and I'm going to go to home. I'm going to paste it, and I'm just going to change the names. That's the only thing that we are going to do right now. Home, then home, and of course, home. Then we have profile. So we're going to paste it. Oh, sorry. Let me copy, paste it. And this one is going to be profile. Okay, profile. And then again, profile. Good. So, okay, so we have all the views ready. Now we need to start using, finally, we're going to be using a React Router. So again, we've installed React Router as a dependency. We have it right here. So what we need to do, we need to bring the package, and we're going to say import and then open and close curly braces, because we're going to be bringing things from React Router DOM. Then we're going to say from, and then we pass React, then router, and then of course DOM. Now the first thing that we're going to be bringing is going to be something called browser router. I know, sounds kind of funny, browser router. So this is going to be an object that it's going to interact with the history, and it's going to know pretty much is going to know what's happening on the URL. Okay, so this one is the first one that we need. Then we need to bring something else. We need to bring something that it's going to be called route with a capital R. So this route is the one that knows what to do when the browser router is saying that the URL changed. Okay, again, this one interacts with the URL, with the history, and this one is going to go and execute whatever the browser router is going to pass. Okay, that's good. Now we need to import the components we just created. So I'm going to put a comment. I'm going to say components, just like that, components. Okay. We need to import, and we need to import first home. It's going to be from, and we're going to go ./components and then home. Okay, what else? We need to import, and then we need to import posts. We need to import it from ./components and then posts. Right. We have one more to go. It's going to be profile, then from, and then ./components and profile. You know, we did all this in just a couple minutes. Once you get the idea of how to do it, you're going to do it really, really fast. Okay, so now we need to start using routes. We brought this browser router and the route. Now, inside of the app, what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this, just for now. And whenever we have an application and we want to use routes, our main application, the starting of our application, which is in this case is going to be app, it needs to wrap everything, the whole application inside the router. So we're going to be using this browser router. I'm going to open and close a tag just like this, and then open and close. Good. Of course, we're going to get some errors, but that's fine. Oh, model can resolve components and profile. Maybe made a mistake. It's going to be profiles. Let me make sure. Profile. Okay, that's good. I made a mistake with the name, but we're just going to leave it like that. So now, whenever we use browser router, we can pass routes. So this route is going to be just like that. Now, each route has a path. The path is going to be whatever this browser router is going to be listening on the history. So I'm going to say path, and it's going to be equal to something. In this case, I'm going to pass the posts right here. So what we want to do, we want to listen for the URL /posts. It's going to be localhost 3000 /posts. And whenever you use you use it like this, it's going to always mean that you want the absolute route, which is the domain, and then immediately after the /posts. So that's going to be why you're going to be using the path. Then you have a different option, a different attribute, and it's going to be component. Whenever we use component, we need to tell React and to tell React router which component we want to render whenever we get this route. Makes sense? So right here we are importing posts. So I'm going to copy posts and put it right here. Good. So I'm going to go right here at the bottom, and I'm going to create the route for the profiles. So, okay, so I'm going to say route. We're going to take a path, and the path is going to be profiles. I'm going to call it profile, singular. And then, of course, we need a component, and the component is going to be just profile. Good. And then, of course, we need to close it. Let me close this so we can see the whole code. And okay, if I go to the browser, we're going to get a router may have only one child element. So this means pretty much that inside browser router, we cannot have different elements. This is just like returning some JSX. We need to wrap everything inside something. And that something could be whatever you want. In this case, I'm just going to use a div. Something simple. And if I wrap everything inside a div, it passes. Okay, so we are getting a route for posts and profiles. So in theory, if I go to posts, we should be getting something. I'm going to say posts. And okay, we are getting posts. If you go to the post component, this one is just returning posts. Okay, let's go to profiles and see what happens. I'm going to go to profile. Oh, it's plural, profiles. And we get profile. Good. Let me change it. I don't like profiles, plural. Let me just bring profile. It's going to be profile. And okay, we get profile. So, it works. Now, let's do the home because right now if we go to home, we are not getting anything, and we have a component for to render the home. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to say route. Okay, let me make it a self-closing tag. And now for the home, we're going to be passing the path. And you know, whenever you go to home, it's going to be pretty much the main domain, the localhost 3000 in this case. So to specify home, we're going to use /. Then we're going to specify the component, and it's going to be home, of course. Okay. So if we go to home, you know, we are getting home. Now, let's go to posts again and see what happens. I'm going to go to posts, and we get home. So why are we getting home? If I go to posts, let's go to the correct route. We are getting home and posts. So what is going on right here? Let me make this a little bit smaller. Whenever we load the React router, we are saying that whenever you get the path of /, you want to render home. So we are getting a / right here, so it's rendering home. Then we pass posts. And you know, we are saying right here that whenever you get posts, render posts. So these two routes are valid. That's why we are getting both. Now there is a way to fix this. React router is going to give us one more option. It's going to be the exact. Then we're going to do something different with this, but for now, exact is going to work. So if I go to posts, you know, we are now getting only posts. And if we go to home, of course, we get home. So exact is going to say, okay, I need to listen to this path, and it needs to be exact. And if it's not, render something else. Okay, so it's going to the second one in the chain, which is this one, and it's only rendering posts. Just like this. Good. So that works. Now, right here, before the routes or after the routes, you can output whatever you want. In this case, I'm just going to create a header tag, just like that. And, you know, I'm going to say header. So if we load the page, we always going to get header. And the magical thing about this, and if I go to posts, we are getting the header. If I go to home, we still get the header. And if we go to profile, we are still getting the header. So if you go to different routes, you're always going to get the header because, you know, it's inside the components. Now, if we look at this kind of makes sense. This is going to be the whole view, which is the whole window. We have header on top that it's going to be rendered no matter what. And then, of course, we have the route. If we have this case, if we are inside home, it's going to render whatever you have as a component. So after the header. So that's what it's doing. We go to profile. First, we get the header, and then we get the profile. So this works like this. You can structure this in different ways. We're going to be creating different routes inside the project. We're going to create different projects, and we're going to be using this in different ways. So you're going to have different ways to use it, of course. Not this one. We could create a file that is going to be routes and then import it and use it from there. That's a different way to use this. Okay, that's fine. This lecture went too long. Let's go to the next section. And what I would like to do is to add some links right here so we can click the links on the header and go to different routes. Let's go to the next section.